I am absolutely in love with the theme for Forza Horizon 5's Update 34, Horizon Retrowave. But with Retrowave, there is so much potential in that update to bring in some amazing features too. And also, I will make another speculation video for Horizon 6 because Horizon 5 is almost at the end of its life cycle. Horizon 6 has to be announced sometime this summer, sometime soon, since Horizon 5 is almost 3 years old. It's almost at the end of its life cycle. It's getting to the point where it's almost as old as Horizon 4, but that's not the point. And no, it's not. I'm an idiot. We're just here to talk about what I really want to see in Update 34 Horizon Retrowave. We already have some amazing new decorations for the highway, which I'm going to be spending hours upon hours there, but we need some cars to match. So we'll talk about the cars, some other features I'd like to see. Well, I'd really like to see the festival, and what I'd really like to see the festival playlist turn out to be, but really we're just getting cars, festival playlist, and then other features. So the cars. Now, obviously, the number one car, one of my all-time favorite cars, and probably the number one best car to bring into Horizon 5 is the 1984 Ferrari Testarossa. If I remember correctly, this car is a flat 12 rear-wheel drive, and we already have the 1992 Ferrari 512 Testarossa, but it is just not the same as the 84. The first Testarossa, Magnifico. I don't really know how to say it. Maybe I got it right, I don't know. But I would absolutely love to see that car in Horizon 5, and I feel like it would fit right in. That's honestly the really only new car I can really think of. But some returning cars that could work really well would be the Camaro IROC Z, maybe the Mazda Cosmo or the RX-3 or something like that. Maybe if you even got some special versions of some cars too, looking around my room here. Maybe an old Volvo would work really well, because we want something boxy. Also, I think there was a leak that one of the cars we're getting is it's an old Lotus Esprit. I think it's a turbo, maybe V8, I don't know, twin turbo V8 maybe. I forget exactly what it is, but that could be absolutely sick, since we did get the the 2002 Esprit V8 a few updates ago. Maybe an old Honda Civic, one of the boxy ones. I think it was the EX. Maybe it's the EX. Also, something else that could be really cool, the Gulf Country. Yeah, I have the Matchbox and I just came up with it, but Horizon 5 is for exploration. Why don't we have a car like this already? We don't even have a body kit or anything for it either. So yeah, definitely the IROC Z could make an amazing return. There's not really much else. There's a lot of 80s cars out there, but Forza already has a lot of really good ones. Maybe some retro race cars, like the Audi Sport, not the Sport Quattro, I already have the Sport Quattro, but maybe just the Audi, what was it, the 90 Quattro? This. It is the 90 Quattro. Called it. Maybe even early 2000s would be considered retro. Maybe they bring in retro SUVs like the Pontiac Aztek or something. Probably won't, but I mean, would be sick. Maybe I have all those cars strewn all throughout my desk. There's not really much else that came to my mind when I was thinking about 80s cars, because Forza pretty much has it all, but the 84 Testarossa could probably be the best bet, and that Lotus Esprit as well. And for the new features, I feel like it would be amazing, because Forza they just love their drone shows and stuff. For pretty much every update where they made something new, they did a drone show for it. What if we could design our own drone shows, turn our own vinyl groups and stuff, or something, make our own, make our fully owned drone show that we could just put in anywhere in any event lab or anything. You could jump through the drones, you could have it in the sky, you could have floating billboards. It could bring a whole new level to map making. But what we'll probably get is none of that. We'll probably just get a longer nighttime, probably some recycled cars. I'm just hoping we get that 1984 Ferrari Testarossa. That's literally all I can think about. And yes, sometimes I do daydream about it, okay? There was a Roblox game I made on my channel years and years ago. I haven't really made a video since then. But honestly, I'm kind of getting back in Roblox, so maybe stay tuned for that potentially. But there was a little racing game called Midnight Racing Tokyo on Roblox, and one of the cars I had was a 1984 Ferrari Testarossa. And ever since then, and even seeing it at like in person at a car show and stuff, I have absolutely fallen in love. And even learning the history about it, the first gen Testarossa has to be one of my favorite cars ever. And yeah, like not even any of these, except for that FL5 Civic Type R, and it's a car, and everything on that poster there. But other than that, I mean, not much we could really do with the 80s. Like maybe there are a couple of cars, like maybe like some, I'm trying to think of like Hot Wheels cars, because they had a, last year they had the 80s, this year they have the 90s. Both of those could work really well. So the theme of this update is definitely going to be the cars from like the 80s, but there's not really much you can choose. Maybe like a different Volkswagen Beetle, because we have kind of like a fancier, older version. But then they started selling to the public more, and they kind of toned it down a little with the styling. We already have a lot of like old retro Porsches. Porsche didn't really do much in the 80s, I don't think. We have there was the 959, but we have that already. Some race cars would be like the 956, but we just had an update like that, so there's not really much you can do. We already have all like the cool retro Lamborghinis. Maybe they might bring back the Yalpa or something. But we already have the Countach. We don't have the first iteration of the Countach, not the 5000 QV, just the Countach. Kind of looked like a cheese wedge, honestly, but it was a masterpiece. Maybe even if they bring in some old 80s concept cars, like the there's a Lancia Stratos something. I'm gonna say, I don't know what it was called, but it was the Stratos before the Stratos. There's also the Aston Martin Bulldog too, which would definitely be very, very, very interesting to bring in. What other cars would there be? Volkswagen's over there. There's not really much you can do with that. There isn't a lot you can, like a lot of different 80s cars. Mainly the only real 80s cars you can bring in is just like boxy sedans and saloons and supercars. That's pretty much it. If we look back here, we already have the FCRX7. They could bring back the FBRX7. What else? The Z's. Definitely maybe the old 300ZX or something. Do they already have the 300Zs? I think there was another like ZX something. I'll just put a picture on screen. Maybe like even the old 935s. We already have the new 935, but there's also like the old 70s 935s too. They were modified 911s built for endurance racing and Le Mans racing and stuff, and they kind of dominated. So I mean, they're in the history books. It's a Porsche after all. We already have the 914, 944. Don't have the 928 yet. It was in Horizon 4, so that could make a return. Not really any old BMWs I'm really thinking of. There was the Z1. The Z1 actually had like these doors where instead of folding out, they would literally just go back into the car, set in the car. That was pretty cool. I think there was the Z2, maybe like an old version of the Z3 or something. It was a James Bond car. Maybe an old Thunderbird could work. Probably not though, because they're bringing in like some more crazy cars and stuff now, so definitely like nothing too tame, really, unless it's like an actually unique idea, like the Rabbit Country or the Golf Country. But other than that, there's not really much you can do. Maybe like some old Japanese cars if you really want. Maybe even like something I just came up with was maybe like the 67 911 Targa or something. I'm just thinking of maybe like things from Top Gear. And not Top Gear, Top Gun. Top Gear 2 could work. Maybe if we got the old Toyota pickup, that would be amazing. Because, I mean, we do have the F-150 Ranger and the K10. So, I mean, having like a little simple truck like that, basic truck, would work really well in the Forza Series Plus. With its history, it would also be amazing as well. There's not really anything you can do with Mini. Nothing really with... We already talked about Mazda. We already have all generations of the Miata. McLaren doesn't really have much. Back in the 80s, they were focusing more on Formula 1. They started with Formula 1 anyways, so... With Ferrari, they already have the F40. We already have the Diablo, the Countach, Lamborghini. The 84 Testarossa has to be, like, the number one car they add. Or maybe even, I was just thinking of this, maybe like the Evo 1, 2, 3, stuff like that. That could work really well. Other than that, there's not really much. We already have some good Ford Escorts. They only made a couple Escorts, so I mean... In terms of old Alfa Romeos, there's not anything really notable unless they want to recycle some things from Horizon 3. If we look on this side now... Maybe an old F-150 XLT. We already have all generations of the Skyline, though. Not much you could do with a Silvia. Didn't they have an S12 Silvia? Maybe they could bring some light to that. Probably not going to do Saab. But one thing they could do, they could do the A70 Supra. The Mark II Supra would actually be an amazing pick. And I wasn't even thinking of Audis. There's a ton of really, really old legendary Audis. Don't know what they're called. But that could be a really, really good choice, too. And also, something I just thought of. What about the old 8.6s? Maybe they could bring in, like, the Levin. Or, like, a bunch of different A86s. Like, they could have the pop-up, but they could have a notchback. They could have no pop-ups, notchback, like a full Levin. They could have a, I think it was the Levin Hachiroku, or Hachi, I don't really know what the generations were called. But it's a Levin, hatchback instead of a notchback. They could do those as well. Like maybe an 8.6 pack or something. And I'm trying to think of others that would work really well. But there's not much else. Maybe like the old, I already talked about the old Civics, but what about like the old Trans Ams and stuff? Like maybe the same generation from Kit. They have something like it, but I think it's a generation like before or after, I forget. We already have like pretty much all generations of the Mustang. Or maybe, like, the Pontiac Astrovan. Like, it's a unique idea, but it could work for Forza. Because, I mean, Forza will just do anything. I feel like that's pretty much all there really is to add. Like, there's not exactly anything else that could, really fit with the update. Not off the top of my head, at least. So, I mean, put in the comments below if you think what else would maybe come to the update. Obviously, this video is going to come out at, like, 3 a.m., so... I think I'm taking school off tomorrow because, I am stressed as shit, so... And there's not really much else I can think of that would come in the update. Maybe just some cars, some drone shows, and that's it.